The Miami Dolphins and safety Minkah Fitzpatrick have agreed to a restructured contract, according to ESPN's Adam Schefter. The move added $16.245 million to Fitzpatrick's signing bonus, adding about $2 million to the safety's 2025 salary, moving it from his 2026 money owed. For the Dolphins, moving the money into the signing bonus created about $11 million in additional cap space for Miami, providing them with needed room to continue to upgrade the roster for the season. We are comfortable with this commitment to Minkah as we continue to work with the Dolphins on a multi-year extension, Fitzpatrick's agent, Drew Rosenhaus, told Schefter. Fitzpatrick hired Rosenhaus after the Pittsburgh Steelers traded Fitzpatrick to Miami with the goal of landing a long-term extension in South Florida. Fitzpatrick has taken part in all of the Dolphins' practices in their first week of training camp. Miami acquired the five-time Pro Bowl safety from the Steelers in a trade that sent cornerback Jalen Ramsey and tight end Jonnu Smith, along with a 2027 seventh-round draft pick, to Pittsburgh. Miami also received a 2027 fifth-round pick in the deal. This marks Fitzpatrick's second stint with the Dolphins. The team selected him 11th overall in the 2018 NFL Draft. He was traded after the first two games of the 2019 season after disagreements with then head coach Brian Flores and the defensive system being used. The two sides will continue to work toward a potential long-term contract, but for the present, it appears both sides are satisfied with the restructured deal. The contract Miami received from the Steelers has Fitzpatrick signed through 2026, but it had no guaranteed money remaining on the deal. The Dolphins have Sunday off, their first rest day of training camp. They will return to the team facilities on Monday. Throughout history, the Steelers have put a premium on players who spend their entire career with the organization. From Ben Roethlisberger to Hines Ward to Mean Joe Green, the list goes on and on of Steelers legends who never left Pittsburgh. That tradition continues now with Omar Khan at the helm after he made TJ Watt the highest-paid non-quarterback in NFL history. According to Khan, that history and tradition of rewarding their elite players with being long-term Steelers was a part of the decision. It meant a lot, Khan said on Steelers Nation Radio when asked about how much it meant for the team to get Watt to retire a Steeler. That's always been important for me. It's such a cool thing when these guys can have really long, successful careers in one helmet. Khan emphasized how being around former players in the organization who were able to play their entire careers with the Steelers helped to mold that thought. Whether it was Roethlisberger, Ward, Troy Polamalu, or Heath Miller, Khan expressed how the Steelers are special when it comes to prioritizing one-helmet guys. I don't know how we compare to other organizations when it comes to that, but I'm sure we're close to the top, he said when talking about the amount of helmet players. Khan was quick to note that signing this contract doesn't mean the end of Watt, saying he hopes there are many more years of partnership to come. At just 30 years old, there's a real possibility, and perhaps a probability, that Watt signs one more contract before he hangs up his cleats. Despite a dip in his production, Watt was selected to his seventh consecutive Pro Bowl, was a second-team All-Pro, and finished fourth in Defensive Player of the Year voting. At the end of his most recently signed contract, Watt will be 35. Sure, there will be regression from the player we know now, but based on examples around the league, it wouldn't be crazy to think he could still rush the passer. Look at Von Miller. At 36 years old, he signed a $6.1 million contract to be one of the Commanders' premium pass rushers this year. With the amount of time and care Watt takes into his training and his body year after year, it wouldn't be crazy to imagine a world where he takes the Cam Hayward route and plays well into his late 30s. Hopefully by then, the team will already have a few Lombardis to their name, cementing his case to be a first-ballot Hall of Famer. Last year, the Pittsburgh Steelers spent their first-round pick on offensive lineman Troy Fautanu. While there was a lot of excitement around Fautanu leading up to the season, he didn't see much actual NFL action due to a knee injury. However, he's healthy now and he figures to be the Steelers' starting right tackle. Unfortunately, because Fautanu was robbed of much of his rookie season, he might face a steep learning curve. He recently explained what the biggest thing that Steelers' offensive line coach Pat Meyer is working on with him. Settling in, my feet especially, Fautanu said Sunday via the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette's YouTube channel. Obviously, missed a lot of reps, so being back, I think I've got some happy feet. Just moving them just to move them. That's about it. I think once my feet are good, usually everything else is good, he added. There's reps here or there, depending on who I'm blocking or who's rushing against me. Things can get a little crazy just because I'm trying to get back into that rhythm. But once I do, I'm starting to feel better, especially going into pads. In his limited action last year, Fotanu looked serviceable. Right before he got injured, he took the starting right tackle spot from Broderick Jones. However, early in the process, he expressed some difficulty switching from left to right tackle because of a change in footwork. While it sounds like this isn't the same problem, it's an example of Fotanu continuing to hone that aspect of his game. However, he doesn't sound too concerned about it. It makes sense that he'd need to get his feet back into a rhythm after missing most of last year. For a young offensive tackle, those were valuable reps. Thankfully, Fotanu is totally healthy now, and there are no questions about where he could play or his status as a starter. He can focus entirely on improving himself. The Steelers will need him to show growth, too. This offseason, they made several moves trying to position themselves as Super Bowl contenders. That included signing Aaron Rodgers, a 41-year-old quarterback. If the Steelers want any chance at competing, they'll need to keep him upright. As one of their starting tackles, that puts a lot of pressure on Fotanu's shoulders. With the pads set to come on in a few days, it should be easier to gauge what level Fotanu is at coming back from his injury. Monitoring his feet should be key. We'll see if he and Meyer work that kink out of his game before the real bullets start to fly. How desperate are the Pittsburgh Steelers for a number 2 receiver? Conversations on potential trades or free agent signings have cooled with training camp underway, but the need in the offense remains. Pittsburgh does have 2 young receivers in Calvin Austin III and Roman Wilson that they would certainly like to get on the field in a greater capacity this season. But this is also a team looking to capitalize on what they believe to be a championship window, no matter how fragile the opening. Many of the new additions via free agency and trade the Steelers have made this offseason have experience getting to and winning Super Bowls. If the franchise does still feel compelled to make an addition who fits that bill, there is one last option available who might be just as desperate as Pittsburgh to make 2025 a season to remember. Pittsburgh Steelers and Odell Beckham Jr. could be just what the other needs. Pro Football Sports Network's Jacob Infante recently highlighted the best available free agents and mentioned that one potential solution to the Steelers' need at receiver would be to sign Odell Beckham Jr. Beckham is almost 33 years old and has missed 40 games since 2020. But he still carries the experience of having played in a Super Bowl and a wealth of veteran knowledge as one of the league's biggest stars for the better part of a decade. It wasn't so long ago that the Steelers signing a player like Beckham would be a laughable suggestion, but this offseason has seen the franchise do many things that have been out of the norm. Still, Beckham likely wouldn't be a realistic answer to the Steelers' questions on offense. The former star hasn't looked like his once superstar self since tearing his ACL in Super Bowl 56. He played remarkably well for the Los Angeles Rams in 2021 and looked poised to possibly even be the Super Bowl MVP before the injury. But since then, he's been rather unremarkable. His return to football in 2023 with Baltimore was unspectacular. He caught just 35 passes for 565 and 3 scores in 14 games. Last year with Miami was even worse. He only suited up for 9 games and didn't make a single start as he recorded just 9 catches for 55 yards. Beckham is clearly at the end of his career, so it stands to reason that he would prefer to land with a contender where he can contribute with a light workload. The Steelers are one of the few teams that fit such a specific scenario, even if many believe Pittsburgh is far from being a serious contender. Such a pairing would reek of desperation, especially for the Steelers. And despite their bold moves this offseason, the team hasn't exactly been making desperate moves, rather just questionable from a certain point of view. Regardless, the Steelers would likely be better served finding veteran talent at wide receiver who don't carry as much media baggage and who instead have a better recent track record of production than what Beckham offers.